Today we're going to see how to change a power steering pump and the reservoir on a 2010 to 2017 Mercedes Benz E series. Now, it's interesting to note that the power steering reservoir is here and the fluid is leaking out of here. And this fluid is what sprayed across these cam sensors and was throwing cam sensor code. So in reality, if you pull up these electrical connectors and then spray them with something, alcohol, and clean it up, that will actually get rid of a cam sensor code. But the problem is from the power steering pump itself. So we're going to replace that and we'll see how. All right, next I'm sucking the fluid out of there. Not the greatest tool, but works. There are 3 screws on the reservoir, one here, one inside this hole, and one inside this cutout in the back. So you need something long and skinny. You could either use a T30 bit with the extension like this. Right, both the high pressure hose and the low pressure hose needs to come off. Tried to do without it, but the C-clamp is right behind the low pressure hose. So let's just take with the E12 socket, the bolt you see right there. All right, so one is out. All right, so this is the biggest challenge. So the C-clamp between the reservoir and the power steering pump, that needs to come off, and that's right behind here next to the low pressure hose. And let me show you where it is. Right there, that is the C-clamp, and you need to put some sort of pick in there to pull it. And that's the challenge, in order to pull it, you need to first push it from the left side, get a little room here, and then we can hook it like this and pull it. All right, so since I have a new reservoir, it actually worked in the favor. Moving this back and forth broke the reservoir off, but you can kind of see where the C-clip is, right there. And on the C-clip, there's that little hole area on the top where you can insert something into for a pick, and then you pull to get the clip off. And that's how you do, basically blindly. So just giving a close-up view to see how it's aligned. All right, I wanted to show you how painful the third bolt in the back is. The AC line is like right on it, so you can't put any socket because of this AC line. But what worked is a 3/8 angled socket like this right there. So that worked kind of well in terms of that worked well, let's just say. Okay, so this style ratchet works 3/8. We don't have the E12 size in this format. If not, it's really hard, so let's use this. All right, finally the pump is out. It was a pain. For a professional, it should be a 1-hour job or whatever they say, but it took 1 hour and took another 1 hour just to take this bolt off. See this little bolt? That bolt was so hard because the AC line, this thing wouldn't let us put a socket in it. What we figured out is 3/8 works perfectly onto these Torx saw. So a ratchet on the 3/8 worked miracles to put behind. The other challenge was, of course, the reservoir C-clip, which was right here. Took a while to figure that out, but I broke the reservoir anyway in the process. Made it easy, but if you're not taking that apart, I think you can still remove the pump without taking the reservoir off. If you can only take those 3 bolts off, these 2 bolts and the one in the back, right? The one in the back right here, that's what I was showing. So this bolt and these 2 bolts, 3 bolts are the ones holding the pump. And let's not forget the O-ring as well. Get a new O-ring for the new pump when you put it in. One thing I noticed on the new pump, this was facing the other way, so the wire wouldn't reach, but then figured out it was just, spin it down. So it took a while to figure that out, but yeah, this can spin and that goes there. Putting the pump and the reservoir together, that way you don't have to mess with that C-clamp at all, which means it was really a pain, but it was doable. That one bottom bolt on the pump, put your hand all the way here with the 3/8 wrench and got that in, and then the rest of the pump bolts and then the reservoir bolts. 3 for the pump, 3 for the reservoir. And once it's all in, you can put the power steering hoses back in, high pressure hose and the low pressure hose. And don't forget the electrical connection also goes back into the pump that is right down there. And that is it. 3 bolts on the reservoir and 3 bolts on the pump. Heck of a job. Like I said, a professional would have done it in an hour. Took us over 3 hours to do it because we didn't know what the heck we were doing. But got it done anyway. That's the beauty of doing it ourselves, and saved some significant amount of money on that. Alright, so next thing is the belt routing. Because we took off the belt, it is a good idea to change the belt as well. And belts are cheap, about 20 bucks. You can get new belt. And very good idea is to take a picture before and follow that for the remounting procedure as well. If not, you can always look it up online, W212 routing. So once you change the power steering pump, put the key in, do not start the car, put it in on position, and crank it all the way to the left and crank it to the right. You do this when the car is up on jack stands and your front wheel is up, so it's easier to turn the wheel. And keep watching the power steering reservoir for bubbles. So once the bubble stops is when you are sure that your car is bled. Then you can start the car. So after we finish replacing the pump and filling the fluids, you need to turn the wheel back and forth while the car is not started but on the on position. And keep monitoring here, so it's a 2% job. As you can see, the fluid will rise up and bubble right there. And stop. Alright, so you just have to keep turning the wheel back and forth so all the trapped air gets bubbled out of here. May have to do it for quite a long time, 30 to 50 turns on the wheel or even more. So it's a time-consuming process, 2% job. After fixing all the power steering pump and replacing it and bleeding it properly, been driving this for a few weeks now. It's absolutely perfect. Nothing, no leaks, nothing on the power steering side, and the steering itself is pretty darn precise. Before it used to wander around, and now it's perfectly hugging the curves and everything. That is completely fixed. That's all I can say. And that is it for the video. The bleeding process is so important. Make sure you follow that, and we would be happy if you give feedback on if you are able to follow the video and do it yourself as well. So write in the comments and subscribe if you can. I'll do more videos. There are already more videos on this car, so if you're a Mercedes fan, go ahead and subscribe. You'll see much more videos coming in the pipeline. And that's it for you guys. I will see you in the next video, and bye.